Hi there, PolishLynx here. This is Everlasting Summer, and after getting endings with Slavia, Lena, Alyssa, and Uliana, we're gonna go for the ending of Semyon. And I've read that we don't need to actually change anything before in choices and start from the beginning, so we will quickly move to the end actually. So on the hike we do nothing, just stay seated. Olga Dmitrievna talks something electronic with Shurik, and right now we try to find gold. We remain seated. I guess that's enough for me today. I sat in my previous place and waited for the end of the hike patiently, almost physically able to feel the looks the camp leader aimed at me. At least she stood up and declared, "And now let's play cities." I had nothing against the game itself, but it was obvious that the hike will take longer because of it. Pioneers sat around the fire. I noticed Lena and Alyssa, who took their places on a trunk opposite me. It seems that everything is alright. And just a few minutes ago I thought the opposite while looking at their quarrel. But anything is possible. I'd really like to know what they were talking about, but it's impossible now, and I could feel tiredness growing in me more and more. My mind was completely blank. To be precise, my head was so heavy that there was no place in it for ideas to unfold. Well, in my better times my brain appeared to be a wide highway with millions of thoughts running by, chasing one another and causing major crashes. Now it was more like a footpath lost in the woods, which is used rarely and only in exceptional cases. Slavia didn't come back. Maybe she had something to do? No. But once again, there is no way to find out now. Well, you moved your ass in the first road actually. Okay, let's start. Moscow. Pioneers started to name cities. Finally, it was my turn. I tried to listen closely to catch the first letter of the city I will have to use. Arkhangelsk. We played several rounds. Each new city name made it harder to remember everything that was mentioned before. My attention was dissipating, and I was already lost in all the capitals, megalopolis, villages, and urban settlements. Semyon, it's your turn! Olga Dmitrievna brought me back to reality. Excuse me, and what was the last one? You're daydreaming again. It was Sevastopol. Okay, then I will say London. Already used. Well then, it got me thinking. There were tons of cities in the world, starting with L, but it was hard to remember even one of them now. Liverpool. Already there. Los Angeles. Ah, finally. She gave me a scornful look, but the game went on. I could hardly bear to think of another city starting with L, but fortunately it was the last round. Okay, that's enough for today. It's already late. Time to go back. I sighed with relief. On our way back, we walked as we liked, without joining in pairs. Night descended upon a camp. A perfectly regular and normal night. It was one of those nights when the dark sky, stars, and even a crescent moon don't cause any special feelings, and the chirping of crickets and the songs of the night birds seem more like routine work noises than a nocturnal chorus actually. In a few minutes all the pioneers were lining up in the square. It was quite late already and fatigue took its toll, so our lineup wasn't perfectly aligned. It looked to me more like a line of Vikings after a successful battle, where the warriors are happy and smiling, anticipating their return to their families, rather than thinking about maintaining correct formation. But someone else could possibly see a completely defeated troop or a bunch of survivors who have to march to their homeland with the last of their strength. Thanks everyone. And now go to sleep, it's late already. Pioneers quickly each ran their own ways, and I was left together with the camp leader. And we should go too. We went in complete silence to Olga Dmitrievna's cabin. Okay, let's sleep. she said, turning off the light. I was tossing and turning for quite a while, recalling all the events of the day. On the one hand, I was overcome with fatigue. On the other hand, I couldn't shake the feeling that I'd forgotten something, done something wrong, said something wrong. And this feeling of incompleteness was tormenting me. It was about 2 a.m. All bad things would end sooner or later. Or at least would take a break. I fell asleep. Day 6. The day we were waiting for. I don't know what time it was when Olga Dmitrievna woke me up, but even before opening my eyes I felt the imminence of death. My whole body ached, I felt dizzy, my mind was clouded by haze. Semyon, wake up immediately or we miss breakfast, and more importantly, the lineup! Looks like the computer intends to exploit me to the fullest today, the same as any other day. I garbled something, covered my head with a blanket and turned to the wall. In the end, Olga Dmitrievna's anger will never go beyond words. At least I really wanted to believe so then. Stand up right now or what? I was going to say triumphantly but kept silent. Not because of fear, just because I felt too lazy to open my mouth. Really, what could she do to me? Lecture me at the lineup? Hang my photo on the wall of shame? Or use me for inhuman alien experiments? Well, I'm ready for that too, just let me sleep a couple of hours. Okay, but if you miss the lineup... The door slammed behind the computer, and the sleep which had been about to fade claimed my mind again. I woke up dazzled by sunlight. It was 1 p.m. according to my cell phone, which was squeezing the last drops of charge out of its battery. So you missed the lineup. Strangely enough, my body didn't age. My head felt clearer, and all in all, it was a good beginning to the day. After waving my arms pretending to do early exercises, I sprang out of the cabin and headed to the washstands. Yeah, I slept through breakfast, but we'll be served lunch soon, so I shouldn't worry that I will have to stay hungry like I did yesterday. Along the way, I met a pioneer whose face somehow looked strangely familiar. It's your face, you idiot. But I was going so fast I couldn't really see him, and when I turned around he was already gone around the corner. There was nobody near the washstands. Everyone is probably busy with Olga Dmitrievna's tasks and God knows what else. It was his face, right? I quickly brushed my teeth, washed my face, and was already going to leave when I suddenly heard the sound of water flowing from the opposite tap. A pioneer leaned against the washstand over there. I couldn't see his face, but judging by his figure he looked like the one I saw a couple of minutes ago. How are you doing? The sun's so bright today. I look up into the sky, shielding my eyes with my palm. Yeah, nothing special. It wasn't easy to get a better look at the pioneer, given the way he stood, the bright sunlight that reflected from the water and shiny metal surfaces of the washstands heavily obscured his face, and I wasn't able to distinguish any single feature. The computer is angry today, so angry. His voice sounded painfully familiar too. Well, she's always like that. Well, you'd know better, yeah. I tried to remember if I've ever heard his voice or ever seen this pioneer before. Well, see ya. He turned the water off and quickly marched towards the forest path. For a second I thought of following him, stopping him, but I quickly fought it off as I decided that it's not worth spoiling such a great fornic with suspicions and burdensome speculations. Nature was glowing with the bright light of life. Lush treetops were rhythmically swaying in the wind, whispering to each other. The breeze gently stroked the high emerald grass. Birds were cooing in the shade, escaping the midday heat. The woods and fields, stretching beneath the horizon, were dissolving in warm sunlight. I don't know which month it is, but it looks like midsummer. I distinctly remember the summer vacations of my childhood and youth, times of fun leisure and carefree joy. Childhood games, how many there were. I wouldn't say no playing war games or hide and seek now, or swinging on a bungee, or maybe building a sandcastle and inhabiting it with toy soldiers ready to defend their master to the last drop of their plastic blood. I went to the square and sat on the bench waiting for lunch. It looked like there wasn't much time left before it. From time to time, pioneers passed by me, sometimes alone, sometimes pairs or groups of three, but always someone I didn't know. Alisa, Uliana, Lena or Savia were nowhere to be seen. Thoughts about the meaninglessness of existence were circling in my brain, but this didn't worry me on such a beautiful day. Just think about it. Who could think of grieving for his life lived in vain or lost early while basking in the rays of such a friendly sun? Certainly not me. I looked up Jenda. He was meditating as always. Now he definitely never gets any unnecessary doubts. I remembered my first hours in this camp and the day before, the anguishing, the anxiety and fear. That all seems so far away now, although so little time has passed. Will I get out of here or not? It didn't concern me as much as before. Maybe I'm already dead. Then, this is the last stop. Please get off the train. What are you thinking about? I looked up and saw that pioneer I'd seen before. I couldn't see his face again, and the sun was shining in my eyes. You know, life. It seemed he would sit down next to me, but the pioneer stayed in the same place, only half turned, which completely killed any hope of seeing his face. Listen, have we met earlier? I don't think I remember you. Well, let's say that you know who I am. But I don't. I laughed sincerely. Here, you don't. He answered short. I see. Honestly, it's not like I didn't want to talk, I just didn't know what to talk about. And my soul was so calm that this didn't bother me. Your first time here? He asked a question, but this tone implied he was only expecting confirmation. And no, it's actually 5th time. Yeah, and you? Me? He paused for a few seconds. Nah, it's not my first time here. One might say that I visited this camp every year since my early childhood. Such an answer got me interested. Well, and what was it like before? It's always the same. Oganiterna being the camp leader, all the same pioneers around, all the same lineups at the morning and all these weak accidents. For a moment I thought that it was me speaking, not him. Interesting. It's just that with every new, he hesitated, year, more and more interesting things happen, and one gets to understand better what's going on. What are you talking about? This conversation positively triggered my curiosity. It's a pity that I can't distinguish the face of this pioneer at all. Well, every session in the pioneer camp reminds of the previous one, he said calmly. Probably. This is my first. It shows. The pioneer grinned. But it looks like it won't be the last. Well, it's fun here and all, but you know how they say, there's no place like home, but you still have to get back there. Now I was absolutely sure that this guy was hiding something from me. To be precise, he stood out too much from the camp's usual ordinaries and was too different from the local inhabitants. What do you mean? You think I'm stuck here forever or something? I said, enunciating every word. The pioneer had no time to answer as the lunch bell sounded. I turned my head towards the loudspeaker, and by the time I looked back, the guy was already gone. Thousands of theories and speculations instantly appeared in my mind, but I stopped myself, remembering all the apparent normality of this camp. After all, nothing supernatural has happened these 5 days. Moreover, everything here seemed too natural, sometimes even boring. Maybe this pioneer didn't mean anything by that, and I just misunderstood him. Thinking that, I went to the canteen intending to feast. To fast actually. Sometimes it seemed to me that lunch here is akin to the crowds around the soup kitchens during a famine. Pioneers were running around, pushing each other, trying to crawl through for the first meal and take the most comfortable table. I was calmly standing and patiently waiting for the cook to get me my assigned food rations. For lunch today we had okroshka, which I didn't really like, and cutlets with potatoes. What is it? Traditional Russian cod soup. Never heard of that one. I sat in a corner and mentally rejoiced that I would be able to eat in peace. My table was the farthest from the kitchen. I could reasonably hope that the pioneers who were looking for a free place wouldn't reach it, or would reach it last. However, when I moved on to the main course. Slavia, Shurik, and Ekotronik appeared from the crowd. Can we? I had nothing against their company. Of course. Lunch was going surprisingly calmly. Even Electronic wasn't jabbering as he usually does. I finally finished the meal, sprawled in my chair, and satisfied clicked my tongue. Listen, do you know this pioneer? I saw him today. You know, he's so... I suddenly realized that I don't really know how to describe him. Well, about my cave, same constitution... hard to say from such a description. Slavia smiled. Well, we have half a camp of such guys, if it comes to that. All in all, they were right. Why are you asking? It's just that I met him today. And it seemed like I haven't seen him before. Look in the canteen. I don't think you will miss lunch. Why didn't I think of that? That's it. Okay guys, enjoy your meal. And we'll continue with that story in the next episode. I think Semyon's ending won't be too good. Alright, see ya, bye.